All right, welcome to this week's episode of the Mortgage Game Podcast. Super excited. As you know, I don't have people on the podcast ever, and when I do, there's a good reason for it. So this week, no exception at all. So we have Miss Samantha Power. Hello, hello, hello. Say hi to everybody. So a lot of you know, you're
Hello.
like, hey, I know her. I think I know her. I know I get this a lot too. I know you from somewhere. I was at a
Somewhere, yeah.
last week and they're like, your face is familiar. And they're like, ah, and then they finally come back later and they're like, I know where I know you. I know you from TikTok. Someone showed me your profile. You are a mortgage broker. You're in Ontario. Someone said, hey, Ryan, have you checked out her stuff? And I'm like, no, because I run a lot of accountability groups and it's all around social media and just daily habits to get, build up that muscle, whatever the muscle is. In that instance, it was social. And I'm like, let's go see. So there's like 75 of us going in to look at your account. And I'm like, okay.
Generally, I can tell when somebody has brought up my social media because I get an influx of followers of mortgage brokers like in one day. It'll be like 27 new followers either on Instagram or TikTok, and it's all mortgage people. And I'm like, somebody somewhere has brought up my account. And
That would be guilty as charged. I bring up your account every time I host an accountability group. And I have been for probably, I don't know, 6 to 12 months. And the reason being is you are your social accounts. We'll get into who you are and all that stuff. But the reason why I'm so enamored with where you're at on social is because if you were to go take coaching or training or whatever it is on how to go build a brand on social, you're doing the opposite of a lot of that stuff. And you're still winning. And you're winning in a big way. And we'll get into and you might be like, Ryan, what do you mean? I mean, like sometimes your videos are minutes long.
yeah.
Sometimes you're just rambling on about stuff,
Yeah, sometimes I like to be dramatic.
dramatic.
Yeah.
You're like typical when you go watch the typical reels out there, it's like someone tries to get you with the hook, like, I got 3 things. I'm like, that's what I do, right? I got 5 things. I'm going to show you this. And you're just telling simple stories every day, just stuff that's happening. And I'm sitting here going, oh my goodness, this goes against everything I've learned about social media. And you're like living proof of it. This girl in a hat and a hoodie out in a small town, just going on social. So that's why I'm so impressed. That's why I wanted to have you on. That's why you and I have connected behind the scenes. And so thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Okay, let's go back to the beginning and then we're going to show you her account at some point here. We're going to run through and like, what were you thinking here? Why'd you do this? But let's give people some of the backstory. How long have you been on social media for?
Social media, pretty much right out the gate. I mean, Facebook back then was the number one thing to be on. So I've always been on Facebook. I've always had a Facebook business page. Um, Instagram, funny enough, I was very big on it personally, and then I didn't really start being active on my Instagram page until I mean, I was active, but not nearly as much as I am now, probably until I started really working on my TikTok, which I think that was the end of 2021. Yeah, end of 2021 is when I really would have started engaging my social media like consistently.
So you started, and that was during COVID, I would assume December 2021 is when you really started TikTok.
Yeah.
Why did you start? Like, why did you go on TikTok?
We were right in the middle of that lovely pandemic. I had a daughter who I have a daughter, I should say. But at that time, TikTok was like the kid thing. Like we were all doing stupid dances on them. So I was kind of having fun with her. My brokerage had put on a contest, and social media was one of the things that was part of the contest. So one day I just was like, okay, I've got Facebook, I've got Instagram. Let's try TikTok out. And like not TikTok, like get on here and dance and be ridiculous on it, but like see if this picks up in the mortgage space. Here we are. It worked.
Here we are, and you have 65,000 followers,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like you got into TikTok right when there was a land grab where TikTok was giving a lot of reach to people who just showed up every day and used it. And they put you in front of a lot of people. If you were to start a TikTok today,
I
it's huge.
it took me a while to get any kind of following on there, or for like, it was, this will go into probably everything you say too, consistency. Because at the beginning, it's not like it was just taking off. I was getting a couple hundred views on it, and I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. And then it was one video that really like was like, oh my God. I went to bed one night, I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh my God. And my boyfriend was like, oh, here we go. And then
Here, a monster is being created.
yeah, he is like, here we go. And then I've
And
never looked
so, when was the first deal? We're going to get into all that juicy stuff here in a bit for everyone listening, but when was the first uh, application you got from TikTok?
I started off getting a lot of questions. It wasn't deal right away. It was a lot of questions, which I was taking people's contact information and building my database with that, or starting to put more effort into my database, because I didn't, and I still to this day, TikTok isn't for me just strictly deals. It's also databases. So if people are reaching out to me and I'm getting their contact information, I still take that as a win because I'm still putting it into my database and they're still getting my emails and they still have a way of contacting me. I will still be top of mind if I reach out to them with even a monthly email. Um, so questions flew in a lot. First deal, probably beginning of 2022.
Okay, so it took a couple
A couple
months,
months.
probably like 30, 40, 50
Yeah.
TikToks for a deal. So people would have comments, questions, and they put that in the comment, or they would contact you directly.
Both.
Okay.
So one of my biggest things at the beginning was if people had questions and they put it in if they asked it under your video, I'd reply with a video with that question tagged.
Okay, so walk me through that. Someone has a question about a HELOC and they put it in the comments section. You
So
would
you
come
can
into the comment section.
click on the comment and reply with video, and then it automatically puts the comment up in the video and it tags that original commenter, and then I'd answer it in a video.
Love it. So you use the video within the platform, the tech already in there where you just reply with video.
Yeah.
And so, hey, great question, Tom. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And then, okay. So were you religious about answering every comment?
At the beginning, yes, I was trying my hardest to comment and reply. Um, Even to this day, I try to reply to a lot. Now my videos are a lot more where I've got a few thousand comments. It's hard to keep up with it. But if I see a repetitive question coming through, that's it. There's an idea for a video.
Gotcha. Okay. So early on, you start making this on TikTok. You put your phone number, and it's still up there today. I'm looking at it right now. You've got your email address, and is that your cell number?
It is.
That's crazy. So do people text you?
Oh yeah. And actually, I am moving. Like you said, I've done a lot of things backwards. I am now moving out of the space where I don't want client text messages anymore, and I'm redirecting them strictly to email just because I'm so busy that I can't keep up with my text messages going off and my emails going off and my phone ringing. So now I'm trying to direct all my clientele to just please send me an email so it's all traced.
One funnel, one
Yeah.
spot coming in so you can track it. So if anyone messages you on TikTok, which I assume they do,
Yeah.
you're trying to push them, send me an email.
I've also had to take off a lot of my direct messaging on TikTok because there's a lot of imposter accounts out there now who act like me, and are creating fake accounts in my name. So I've made it so that like I don't want to talk to you via TikTok. If you're serious enough that you want to contact me, all my contact info is in my bio. You're either going to pick up the phone and call me, or you're going to shoot me an email.
So did you originally, because you're just at a point right now where there's a lot of stuff going on where you can make that decision, but early on in your TikTok career, it's
Yeah.
funny to say that,
Yeah.
your TikTok career, early in your TikTok career, did you have Messenger turned on and were you communicating with people?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Love it. Okay. So to give context to people, before you were on TikTok, I know you were on Instagram and Facebook before,
Yeah.
Instagram personally. Like, can you just give us some context around what type of broker were you? Were you like, you're in a small town, big town? Where were you getting your business from? How much of it was coming through Facebook? Do you
Yeah.
even know?
So when it comes to like tracing everything, no, I'm not good at that. I did get a lot of business from Facebook. I was very big into like local groups. You know how Facebook has like your local town groups and stuff? I would take advantage of the advertising on those allowable days. I'm from a small town, and by small town, I mean we have one traffic light. I'm surrounded by potato farmers, farmers in general. We have no traffic. Our traffic is tractors and the steam train and the Honda train. So very small town. I have my real estate agents, which I am not a purchase mortgage agent. Those are my least favorite files to do. I am more of a refinance, renewals and switches, and debt consolidation kind of agent. That's where I thrive. That's
Was
the
that
stuff
always the case? Was that always the
yeah,
case?
I've always I have my select few real estate agents that I love, I trust. I get my business from them, but I've never made real estate agents my like focus. And that for me has really worked out for me in the last few years with the market slowing down and interest rates rising and houses not selling like that. So I have my real estate agents that I trusted, and they send me my business, and I'd get business from them. I was active on Facebook in like small market groups, and then I'm also active in our like my community, which is a big thing for me. I've always I put on free events, and I think that's a big thing, especially for new agents out there, is being active in your community.
Well, you were a small town, right? There's
Yeah,
only like how many people in the town?
not a lot.
Like 1,000, 3,000, 10,000?
No, I don't know. I don't know what our population is. It's tiny.
We'll go to our research department to figure that out. So you've got small town, you're running a bit, but were you running a comfortable mortgage business? Like
Yeah.
did the reason you go on TikTok, was it because you were thinking, hey, I need to get further reach? There's other clients out there that could use my help. How do I go do that? I'm going to go social. Or is it more of a social experiment for you?
It was kind of like an experiment just to see. Like social media has always been an avenue for me to get business. Um, and I mean, I was comfortable. I was a producing broker before TikTok. Like I was fine. I did well. Um, TikTok took it to a whole new level, like a
Would you
whole
say
new
your
level.
business has doubled since you?
Almost probably close to tripling now.
Okay. So your business tripled, and do you still have the same fundamentals you had before you got on TikTok with where you were with that business you already had, which was a good producing business with the realtors and the local
Yeah.
things,
Yeah, I
Facebook.
still do it all.
You still do all that, but and
Yeah.
then you layered on TikTok, and then you 3x'd your business over the next 3 years.
Yeah, so like if you ask a lot of agents the last couple of years, it's been a downturned, like they've been down in
Yeah.
business. I have increased my business year over year and increased it significantly.
So for
Not
those
too
of
many
you listening,
brokers that were burning out in the last 12 to 18 months from business. I was not bragging at any means, but it was a very tough year because I was burning out. I was very, very busy. So I increased those years due to social media
in a down market where
in a down
everyone
market.
is, and I know some like $100 million producers that are down to 30, 40 million.
Yeah,
Um, right? You went the other way.
I went
And
the other way.
can you 110% say that's because of TikTok?
1,000%.
Yeah, that's more than 110%. So
Yeah, that's
that's
1,000%. Yeah.
okay. Love it. So you get access, people get access to you. I know you're going to take that away, but they've got your cell number, they've got your email. Those people are coming through, you're pushing them through to what? A booked discovery call? Is that like the next piece of the funnel?
Yeah. Now this goes a bit of a difference between new agents versus producing agents. New agents, you guys got to be able to pick up your phone 24/7, in my opinion. When you're a new agent, that phone is an extra body piece and you or body part, and you
The
pick that phone up
superpower you have.
at 7 a.m. and you pick it up at 11:30 at night, right? Um, I was that person. I'm so busy now that I can't do that anymore. So now everything is scheduled through a phone call. Like it's very rare that I answer my phone anymore and take on a new client right there. It's generally if I've answered it, hey, I'm going to forward you a link. Please follow this link to schedule a call that's going to work for you and me because I can't be that person standing at my son's hockey tournaments anymore just not paying attention because he's on the ice but I've got 15 people calling me at a time, right? So
You funnel them all through to your calendar. And so
Yep.
how many, if you had to put a number on it, how many book discovery calls do you think you're getting a month that are coming directly from your social?
From my social, I'm booking anywhere. My lowest month that I have written down right now would be 43 to my highest of 102.
Love it. I love that you track that too.
Yeah.
And of all the things you track in your
Of
business,
all, I know. I
that's the thing. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So you're getting the book calls, you're getting you 3x your business in 3 years in a down market. Have you been able to now pull out, like, are you just taking on any call? You jump on that call and you don't know yet what you're talking about. Is that pretty much what that looks like? Like it's a whole
Yeah. So I think everybody deserves to have, if they're reaching out to me, they deserve to have at least an initial discovery call with me. And then from that discovery call, I'm able to kind of wean out more so like I'm a big believer in trust your gut, and that initial call gives me that this client is not going to work well for me, or I'm not going to work well for them, or this is my type of client, or the maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should, and then I go with it. And then sometimes it's like, Sam, you should listen to your gut kind of thing. But yeah, I believe that everybody should be allowed to have an initial call with me if they've reached out to me, if they've taken the time to look at my stuff, give me that, that email or that message. Sure, I'm happy to jump on a call with you. And not every call ends up in an application. Some of those calls, it's you're better off staying where you're at, and people love that honesty.
how long are those calls on average, do you think?
I don't book them for more than 15 minutes.
So you're getting in, you're figuring, you've got your questions you're trying to ask,
Yeah.
your women intuition's kicking in. You're like, hey, is this someone I want to spend more time with? And you can get, because you've got so many book calls coming in, so many opportunities, you can like just get to it a lot quicker
I
with
have
people.
to.
You have
And
to,
I
yeah.
have to. Like there's no more. There's a few. I do have clients that I sit on the phone and I'm like, oh my God, that was 40 minutes. But those are my types of people where we get into off-topic conversations, and then they really appreciate it because it wasn't just mortgage talk, it was life talk too. So,
Do you get some people going, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually talking to you?
oh my God, all the time they're like, I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity. I'm like, listen, I don't know anybody who wants to be a mortgage celebrity, but I'm just another person. Or they see me out in public and they're like, Samantha. I'm like, hi. Yeah,
Okay, comes with the territory.
it does.
So, okay. And this is, so you said that your Instagram, can you tell if you're getting book calls from Instagram or not? Or are they just kind of funnel in and or do you ask them where they're coming from?
Generally people will tell me, like the first thing that comes out of their mouth is like, I know this is kind of weird to say, but I follow you on, generally it's TikTok, or it's, I can't believe I'm calling somebody for my mortgage from TikTok. Um, but I do get stuff from Instagram. A lot of people will DM me. If I'm getting business from Instagram, it's because I've received a DM that I will respond in DMs on Instagram a lot better than I will on TikTok. There's just my Instagram following is not anywhere near my TikTok following.
Okay. And so walk me through a day in the life of, from a social media perspective. Walk me through, you come in the office. Do you go in the office? What time do you get in the office? When do you do your post? How do you come up with the idea for it? Just start off talking about that.
So generally my mornings are my social media. So I get into the office anywhere between 7 a.m. to 8. And I try to dedicate the first half an hour to my social media. So I'll sit literally right here, put my phone up, and do a video. Now, some mornings I will jump, I mean, with my following, I'll jump on a TikTok live, which is a whole different topic, but that is also a great way. You have to have a certain amount of followers before you hit that, but I do enjoy that too. But generally, it's just the mornings where I will jump on and do a video, and I'll post the video. And there's my video for the day. And then I'm like every other human being where I will look at it throughout the day and reply to comments and stuff. Now, is it always in the morning? No, it's not. Sometimes I'll do TikTok videos from home. Sometimes I'm in my car, but for the most part, it is the office.
So if you come in the office and you're like, hey, for the next half hour, I'm just going to get out a video.
Yeah.
Then you
It's the
put your
first thing
phone.
I do.
It's the first thing you do.
The
And
first
so
thing I do.
do you know what you're going to talk about in that moment yet?
Generally, yeah. So like I find, and that's the number one thing that people struggle with is what do you talk about? Keep it simple and talk about the things that you get asked about all the time. Talk about a file that has gone south or a file that you have saved. Like people love to hear other people's problems because they feel like they're not alone in it. Like you can reach so many other people by saying like we've dealt with this or I've dealt with this or this is a scenario that it just came across my desk. Um, it makes people feel a lot more connected, like they're not alone, especially in our industry where money is the root of all evil to people. It's the biggest stressor. If they, you know, if they feel like you've helped somebody else and they're kind of in that similar boat, right there, they're relating to you and you've related to somebody else about their problems and they feel like they can reach out to you because you've already dealt with it. Don't be afraid to reuse content. If you've done videos in the past, months and months and months ago, do a new video. It can be the same type. You can repurpose content. That video from 6 months ago might not be circulating, but this one that you're going to do today might circulate.
Might trigger something in there. The algorithm might pick it
Yeah.
up because you had a certain buzzword.
Yeah.
Do you post 5 days a week, 7 days a week?
No. It really depends on the week. I try like 2, 3 times a week.
So
Some
it's not every day.
no. I
So,
can't
but
I can't keep up with it. It becomes like a full-time job.
was it
Um,
every day though at some point early on?
I was a lot more I would say consistently 3 to 4 times a week is like a sweet spot for me. I didn't feel like it was too overwhelming.
And
Every
what's the
day to
average
me,
video?
um, try like the longer the video, the shorter attention span people have. I find the sweet spot, if you can keep it like that minute-ish, it's a good. Now, that being said, I have videos that go on for 3.5 minutes that have had tons and tons and tons of views, but then I've also had videos, the longer the video, I notice the views are less. Or you can track where like people start kind of, okay, I'm done with this, and they scroll.
So there's not like a scientific way of doing this on your end. You're not coming and breaking down all the analytics and going, this is going to
No.
be my hook. This is the problem. This is the outcome. And then I'm going to green screen something behind me. And then I'm going to use this editing. I'm going to pick this song. And like, you're just turning the camera on, talking about everyday stuff you talk about,
Mhm.
anywhere from 1 to 2.5, 3 minutes. You're posting it 2, 3 times a week on TikTok. Are you then reposting that exact video on Instagram, or do you go into Instagram and record a specific video?
No. So pretty much a lot of my stuff translates from TikTok over to Instagram. I will remove the watermark of TikTok. Like I will never post on TikTok something from Tik or on Instagram from TikTok with that watermark. So I'll have that removed. And then I just repurpose it onto Instagram. In my opinion, putting that pressure on yourself to come up with a video, do a video on TikTok that you're comfortable sending out, and then trying to redo it again on Instagram to send it out. Why complicate it?
So you push it out. So you probably, if you're pushing on Instagram, you're probably pushing it out on Facebook too, I imagine.
I don't focus so much on Facebook anymore. I don't know if it's going out. To be completely honest, I have no idea.
And you're at that point, you just don't, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. You're
Right, but I
whatever
still
you're
do it
doing
because
is working.
it's working.
Okay. Does TikTok have the ability to do stories like Instagram?
Yeah.
And are you on there? These are the reels you're posting, which are what we're talking about, those 1 to 3 minute videos. Are you on using stories?
On TikTok,
Yeah.
if I do a story on TikTok, it's a lot more of my personal life of TikTok. So pre TikTok, Sam was very, I had my personal Instagram page and then I created a business page, and I was a lot more cautious on my business page of what I was posting. You would still kind of see that I had a family and that I was a mom, and there would be random things on there that was, but I wasn't so personal on it. And then TikTok, I found I became very business and I didn't want much of my personal life being on TikTok. And it's still that way. Like if you look at my business Instagram account and my business TikTok account, you'll see a lot more of a personal side of me on my Instagram than you will on TikTok. So if I post something on stories on TikTok, it's like I went to the Bills game a couple weeks ago and I did a couple of stories on that, and people they liked that. Um, but I find TikTok for me is a lot more business. People know I have a personal side to me. They know I have kids. They know I have a son that plays rep hockey. My girls do other things. But I find I'm starting to get a lot of followers from TikTok that now have migrated to my Instagram because they want to see that other side of me, where I post a lot more on my stories on Instagram than I do on TikTok.
Interesting. Okay. Very interesting.
Mhm.
Negative comments.
Oh my God, I love them. They're my favorite.
Those are your,
They're my favorite.
so you obviously let them, because, there's keyboard warriors out there. You've got
Yeah.
a lot of people viewing and commenting. What's your stance on
Oh my
the
God,
negative
keep
comments?
them and reply to them. Any
Okay.
content that is being like any comments is helping your video.
Okay. So you don't look at it, it doesn't ruin your day.
No,
No.
it makes like I enjoy it.
You enjoy
I do.
that.
I do. I enjoy it.
You are wired a certain way.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm not like one, I don't think you're going to get the people that come across that, wanted they're keyboard warriors or they have nothing better to do with their time. Their comments are helping your videos. So sometimes I'll just be like, oh, thanks so much for pushing this further into the algorithm for me. Sometimes I'll completely stop people dead in their tracks and tell them how incredibly wrong they are. Sometimes I just comment and say, have a fantastic day, or oh my God, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I play into it because the more people are commenting on your videos, the more they're helping your videos. So good comments, bad comments, who do you care what Billy Bob Joe from 5,000 kilometers away has to say about your video? Take a hike.
well, easier said than done. I'm with you 100,000,000%. But yeah, it's some people just they go down that path and it
Yeah.
spirals. But that's a part I get that from brokers all the time. Well, what about I'm like, let's go create that problem first.
Yeah.
Go create the problem where there is so many comments on your social, so much, and then let's deal with your mindset. Let's not have that as a reason to not start.
Yeah. Like I'm a very big believer that you're not for everybody and everybody is not for you. Every single mortgage client out there is not your type of client, nor do you want them to be. And there's a reason why there's so many of us agents and brokers around because there's so many mortgages to go around. And if that person's not liking me or my vibe on that video, they're going to find the next mortgage agent that is their vibe and is their person. So yeah, don't let people that you don't know ruin your day. And at the end of the day, remember that you're the expert in the industry or you know what you're talking about. This is your life. This is what you do. There's, yeah.
Well, it's someone put it to me very well, and like you're living it. If the cost of me 3xing my business in a down market is I have to deal with negative comments, that's a trade-off I'm willing to make
Yeah.
all day long, right?
Mhm.
That's
You can just simply like, thank you so much. Have a fantastic day. If somebody is that much of a hater, that's going to irk them even more and they'll move on. But don't delete those comments. Those comments are actually helping your videos.
So what about you get people reaching out from all over Canada? What do you do if someone reaches out in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba? Like, what do you do with those? You can't have it all Ontario people coming in.
I do them all.
Do them all.
Yeah.
I know you do. I knew the answer to that question. I wanted
Mhm.
other people to know. So you take on deals. If that's right or wrong, who knows? Determine later. But you take on deals and you run them through a deal desk, I'm assuming.
I do. Now, am I changing my ways? Yes, I am. Um, I will be, kind of co-brokering them out because I can't take on, my business has grown so much that I have to now be able to comfortably take the business that I want and give the business out to somebody else that wants business out in other areas. So,
So if you could go back
mhm.
2 years, would you stick to only doing Ontario mortgages and referring however you refer those out? And would you also remove your phone number from the social so that there come and only keep your email there? Like, are there a couple things you would do different
I
knowing
would
what
have
you know now?
I would have kept my phone number. I mean, my phone number, you type in my name and my phone number pops up everywhere. You're finding, if they don't find it on social media, they're finding it on Google. It's everywhere. That I would have kept. Would I have liked to maybe source out business, send it out somewhere else earlier? Yes. But by the time that this kind of all blew up, everything was just coming in so fast to me. I didn't have time to sit back and be like, okay, let's take a breath and like revamp things. So I've got some serious work to do for the next month because January will be a new year for me, business wise, and what I'm allowing to happen. And yeah,
You were drinking from a fire hose at that time, and you were just like,
I
okay,
was just trying to survive, like
yeah.
in a good way. Like business was thriving and I was doing, I'm doing well. Um, but it was just trying to be able to continue to do it. And then, like I said, I hit a burnout mark. I hit a burnout mark where I was like, I'm done with this industry. I'm a producing broker that is doing the best she's ever done. And I was like, I am done with this. I want nothing more to do with this career. And then I was like, maybe I'm gonna go become a lawyer. And my mom, my dad, my boyfriend, they were like, what? And I was like, I'm just kidding. I'm back in it.
Some nice little tweaks you can make in your
Yeah.
business. And I only know that because we talked about it. So, and I know you're on the path to doing that, where you will turn this into more of a superpower than look at it as a negative thing.
Yeah.
Um, Realtors, do realtors reach out to you directly and want to partner with you? Do they start sending you leads? What's going on there?
Yep. I get real estate agents. I get people saying like, so and so has referred me to you, and I'm like, who? And they're like, oh, he or they follow you on TikTok, and I'm like, oh, so I'm not even having the real estate agents reach out to me. I'm just getting referrals from them and having no idea who they are. Um, I've had just in the past 2 months a very high producing real estate agent in the city that has asked me to come down and be on a podcast. Um, I had a big brokerage way up north. That's a producing brokerage up there. Reach out and say they want me to come in, and they were fine to do a Zoom. And I was like, listen, like they do quite well for themselves. They have a team meeting. I said, if I make the drive up there, which is a few hour drive, would that work better? And they were like, yes. So,
Very cool. So it's opened up other opportunities
yeah.
where you're not, yeah, they call in sports, they say the field's tilted, the ice is tilted, like it's tilted in your favor right now with the social stuff. Whereas a lot of people listening and watching this, they're still trying to like convince themselves there's a long-term play here. They're they're trying to get out of their own way. You're already there. You're so far past it. Um, it's interesting to see on the flip side. So I want to get into, I'm going to share my screen here.
Yeah.
If you're just listening to this, I'll try to talk you through it. Like we said, it's always fun watching yourself on social. We won't go watch the videos, but just scrolling through here. So I see like your thumbnails you have here. The thumbnails aren't like, there's no
Like
caption.
I'm in my garage there.
You're in your garage.
Yeah.
You're in your office all the time.
Yeah.
You're wearing a hat, wearing a hoodie. You're, you've got, I don't like, there's no, like on the thumbnail, there's no text or anything that says what the video is even about,
Hmm.
right? It's just crazy to me. And so for you, when I look at this, I'm looking at this going, like, man, you're getting, I see here 70,000, 30,000, 15, 20, 30,000. Like you're getting the views. That's not to be disputed. 131,000.
Yeah.
Uh, it's you picking up like, I'm trying to give like there's not like this thing, hey, go do these five. It's like pick up the fucking camera
Mhm.
and click record and talk about what you talk about every day when you're not on camera. uh, you're just doing that here. Like there's nothing here that jumps off the page at me where I'm like, whoa, look at this account. It's so like, it's just over and over and over again, you doing the same thing.
Yeah. I just like if you scroll down a bit, and it's so funny because this is TikTok where Nixon, go up a bit where the dog is, up where the green grass is. So I have a dog that loves to, he's in the office sometimes, and my followers love him. That's my personal life. It got 7,000 views. And this is a dog that somebody has sent me stuffed animals to my office for my dog. Like
Yeah.
people love him, but then I post something that's personal and it's like, well, 7,000 views. And then I post something about mortgage interest rates, 130,000 views. Like my TikTok to me is just, it's pretty much strictly business. I very rarely come on a personal note with it. And if I do, it doesn't do well.
And then you come over here and
It's
you've
all the
got,
same.
this is your Instagram account. Um, and you
Yeah,
can tell there's more personal stuff
there's
here,
more
like being
personal.
at the lake and girls' night out,
Mhm.
stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. And you've got, yeah, it's got a different vibe on here.
Yeah, and that's just my reels. Like you'll see, my posts, you'll see pictures of me and the kids or like Halloween stuff. Yeah, it's a lot more
Yeah.
of a personal side of me that people get to see than TikTok.
And is there a reason why you're keeping TikTok more business and not bringing just this info over to TikTok?
I just, no, I don't really have a reason for it. I find because with Instagram, I can mix in like just pictures versus having to do a reel all the time, where TikTok is all reels, right? Um,
Got it. So you can just,
yeah,
the
so
format of what you can post is different.
yeah, so this is
Um,
just a little bit more people, they see that side of me. All do like there's my son's hockey. That's his jersey with my logo on the back of it.
yeah.
It's a lot more of a personal side of me.
And so, and then here you have 3,800 followers, and on the other one you've got 65,000.
Right.
So I know Instagram is harder to build up with
Instagram is a lot
followers,
harder. Yeah.
but it's also when you get those followers, it's a lot more concentrated,
Yes.
right? The quality of followers
Yeah.
is better if you
Yep.
can get through the quality. You're at a quantity on the other side.
Mhm.
Okay, I want to talk about, because I see you're involved locally. I
Yeah.
want to just touch on a couple things there. What do you do where you see an ROI from outside of social? What do you do locally in your town with the hockey, with events? What do you do where you actually know it's worth your time and money?
So I've sponsored, actually, this is the first year I haven't sponsored my son's hockey team, but I've sponsored the jerseys, which has put my logo on it. Now I did that I was a little bit more selfish. I wanted a jersey with our last name on the back of it and then my business name on the back of it so I can hang it up and put it in the office.
How much did that cost? How much that cost to do that?
To sponsor the jerseys, I think it was $2,000
$2,000 for the year.
for the year. Now, if anybody watching this is probably like, I've never in a million years looked at somebody's jersey and been like, I'm going to go call that person. Now, on the flip side of it, I also sponsored the boards at our local arenas that I am at 24/7. So we've got jerseys out there with my logo on it. Now we've got a board with my picture, my logo, my name. Um,
How much
and
does the board cost?
I think it was for two arenas. I think I paid like $1,500 for the year. It's not
That's a great
much.
deal. Yeah.
And I have had people like, hey, didn't I see you on the boards or is that you on the boards? So facial recognition for me, not generally like a return of income, kind of like money. Um, but just even like recognition, like I recognize you from somewhere. And if it's not social media, oh, you're in the arena and here you are in the arena 7 days a week. Oh, and you're on the back of jerseys. Like people are getting my branding. They're connecting all the dots. So that's something I do. Since the start of my career, I've always done a local Easter egg hunt for the towns or the town. It has recently blown up. I've turned it into something called Hippity Hop Down Main. So my office is on a main street. Last year was the first like pilot project of it where I included all the local businesses on Main Street and we did Hippity Hop Down Main. So you pretty much the kids trick or treated at Easter down Main to all the stores and everybody handed out candy. And then they ended at my office where I had the Easter Bunny here for free pictures and like a meet and greet. Um, so that's changed. I used to just do like a massive Easter egg hunt in the park, which was always super successful. Last year, we were over 300 kids walked through these doors.
That's crazy for, especially being in such a small town. I imagine people are driving from other
Yeah.
areas. They're always looking for, we had young kids.
Free stuff
You're
and
looking
treats
for
for their
things to
kids.
do and free stuff. How much those Easter events, what does that end up running you?
I rent the Easter Bunny costume, which is I think $500. Um, for years and years, I how they used to go is like the big plastic eggs. We'd kind of like throw them out in a field, and then kids would go hunt them, and then they'd turn their eggs in for like a goodie bag. And I'd always get companies to sponsor, so Walmart, Giant Tiger, Zares, they all sponsored all my treats, so I didn't pay for any of that. Tim Hortons normally sponsors and McDonald's sponsor food and like treats and stuff, so that I had to pay for a permit for the town for my insurance, 175 bucks I think it was. I make everybody sign in before they come in, which equals names and emails for my database. So Easter has always been a big thing. Like I said, last year we piloted the Hippity Hop Down Main, which was a massive success and used all the other local businesses, which they loved. So that'll be our thing moving forward. Christmas, I do a Santa Claus thing. So we are gearing up for that. Santa comes to the office. This year I've rented a photo booth where you can now take a digitally printed photo home with you, which will have my logo on it. But also take your own. We do a coloring contest. Same thing. I get like Tim Hortons and stuff to sponsor coffee and hot chocolate and McDonald's and stuff. So that costs me the Santa suit. I mean, you have to have people that are willing to participate. I'm very fortunate with my boyfriend. He's a big kid at heart, and he puts the Santa suit on, or has for the past few years, and has helped me out with the Easter Bunny thing. Yeah, those events, those two events for me are huge.
So that's what I was going to ask you, was because you could, not that you're going to, but you could just not do those anymore. And your business, you probably would just like pick up any slack from
Yeah.
social. So why are you still doing them?
I think it's important. I think it's important to, this sounds cheesy, to not lose who you were. Like, you don't need to stop doing the things that you used to do to get business. Like, my life isn't all social media. That's not all I do. I was a producing broker before social media, and it was doing all of these things. And I think it's very important to stay connected to people in your community, especially me from a smaller area. Um,
And you enjoy it. Like
I
it
do.
fills
I
you
do.
up.
I mean, I don't enjoy the stress building up to it, like getting to it. You're like, what was I thinking? But the day comes and it's a lot of fun. And it's a few hours, a couple times a year. And my kids are involved in it now. Like, yeah, I don't know, it's fun.
I know I can sense you're a very genuine person, so I can sense that that's a big part of why you're doing it. And you feel like you're giving back,
Yeah.
right? You are. You're giving
Well, and we do like those events.
experiences.
They're free, but they are, please bring a food donation, and then we donate to the food banks.
I love it. I see you. We all have these things going on in
Yeah.
our community. You're just the one, you're actually doing it.
Yeah.
And you've been consistent at it. And so I want to share, this was something that I helped another broker do. It was so they could they could understand the ROI on advertising in a hockey rink.
Yeah.
And they could actually draw a straight line to how much money they made off of that. And so for your instance, what's your kids' hockey team? What's their name?
Like TNT Tornadoes.
The Tornadoes. Okay, awesome. So it could be you on the board there, you have like whatever is your advertising. It's like, hey, Sam Power's there, Sam Power. You have a unique URL. So the URL could be Tornado Mortgages,
Yeah.
and you have that .com. And so if you want more info with a scan code,
Yeah.
like a QR code, people scan it. When they scan that, they go to a landing page. The landing page is a 60-second video of you in the jersey going, hey, I'm a tornado hockey mom, and blah, blah, blah. Hey, I'm a mortgage broker. I specialize in helping people improve their cash flow through debt consolidation and blah, blah, blah. If you want to book a no strings attached 15-minute phone call, click the link below. And that's all it is. The only people who can get there are the people who see the unique URL and the QR code from the hockey board.
Right.
So your book calls are only coming from one spot, so you can track it. It's just a way to understand if the investment makes sense from a money perspective. So yeah, that was something I did many years ago, and then I've coached some other brokers do it, and they're like, yeah, now I can tell. I made 18 grand off of that investment. It's pretty cool when you click that and then you go through. Yeah. Do you have to do that? No, I think you're past that by now, but it is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
you
Being out in the community was something that brought me business before, so it's not something that I would stop. Does it cross my mind that one day social media becomes like everybody's getting on it? There's that thought process of, okay, well, somebody is going to become bigger and better on there, which that's fine. But But social media, I don't think is going anywhere for a very, very, very long time. I think it's just going to become even more advanced than what it already is. And it's becoming a very big search engine for a majority of Canadians. Um, Brokers reach out to me all the time. I get asked all the time, like, if you did would you be willing to teach a course on it? Or can you be my mentor on it? Right? Like that, I get these comments all day long. And if I wasn't drowning in business, could I completely flip my mortgage mind and go to, that coaching side of it? I could, if I get my office running the way I need it to, but I think there's room for every agent out there on social media. I think I don't think everybody needs to be on it, and I'll be completely honest. Not every person is going to be great at it. And not every person, there's a ton of producing agents out there that haven't picked up social media ever. And they've got producing businesses, right? Do I think it's the way that things are going? Yes. Do I get a significant amount of business from it? Yeah, I do. So I think if you are nervous about getting on it, you are the expert. Keep it simple. People love that. That's one of the number one comments I get is you make things easy to understand. And it is the simplest thing that I'm talking about.
Well, that's a superpower in itself, is having the ability to articulate something complex as prepayment privilege and dumb it down so that the average person, someone told me once, you should anything you say on social, any of your webinars, any of your emails should all be done at a third grade level.
Yeah.
So that everybody gets it. Otherwise you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. And so by you building your database with the emails and getting in the apps and all these things, like even if someone flips the switch on your TikTok at some point and it just goes away, doesn't matter. You're going to have, because of all the legwork you're putting in
right
behind the scenes, you're going to have this massive database to continue to market through email.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very cool.
I find one of the things that people say to me all the time is like, they'll look at my TikTok videos that have hundreds and hundreds of likes or a couple thousand comments. And they're like, I'll post on Instagram and I'll get 15 likes. And so will I. Like sometimes there's a post that gets 15 likes. And I was actually laying in bed thinking about it the other night. And I was like, if 15 people showed up at your door to show you support in your business, you'd be overwhelmed by it. But we are stuck in this world where it's all about likes and shares and comments. And I think you have to get out of your head in the fact that only 15 people liked it. 15 that's a lot of people. If you flipped it and said 15 people showed up at my door to show me support by liking my thing, you'd be overwhelmed by it. So I find a lot of people jump off social media because they're not getting immediate results from it. And they're so focused on the likes, where I can look at some of my videos that have, smaller views, but a ridiculous amount of likes on it. And I'm like, oh, cool. This many people liked my video. It's getting out there. So I don't think you always have to focus on your views all the time or your likes. Like that's not what you should be focusing on. And I find that's where people kind of fall off of social media. They're like, I don't get any, not everybody likes my videos, and I only get a small amount of people. A small amount of people, if you flip that mindset, it's still a decent amount of people.
Well, it's crazy expectations to give yourself that you put a video out there and then you need these likes, these comments. I need applications. I need book call. Like that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. So I get why people don't do it. I've always said you need zero expectations. You go make a video, you fire it out. What did it take you? It took you 2 minutes. What do you expect is going to happen?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
like
it's free.
$0.
If I said, hey, I'll give you center page of the biggest newspaper in Toronto, an ad in there, and you can run it for zero cost, would you do it?
Right.
Yeah, I'll do it. Why wouldn't I do it? Same thing, same idea with social.
And you're on social media, like everybody out there who's trying to be on social media or trying to like get over that fear of getting on it, you guys are on it already. You're on there scrolling. You're already on it. It's just like you're just wasting time where you could be producing a video that takes literally seconds. And I can attest to this. At the beginning of my TikTok career, you wanted to perfect your videos. Like it was like you'd watch these videos back and you'd be like, oh, I didn't like the way that I said this. Or in the moment you said the wrong word. And then after you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. And then you're retrying and retrying and retrying. I've gotten to a point now where I will mess up videos or I will say the wrong thing and then it'll click like a minute later and I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. And in the video, I'll stop myself and be like, hold on a second, let me try that again. Because I'm not, people love that you're a real person.
Yeah.
So that goes back to, I think, part of it too. And I hear that from people all the time is like, what I see on the video is they know that's what they're going to get on the other end of the phone when they pick up the phone with me. Um, yeah,
Well, I watch your videos and I feel like and this is a big shift. What's happening in the social world is gone are where you need the fancy lights in the background and the pop in, the pop out. People like, they want to be like in the corner, just kind of seeing what you're doing during the day. They want to just feel like they're there with you in
yeah,
the moment, whatever it is. And so with your videos, it very much feels like that. It feels like I'm literally sitting there and just hearing you talk to me, and you screw up and you're human and you,
yeah.
right? And then you carry on, but you recognize it and then you carry on. And so
Yeah,
that's,
being a real person is, I think, very, very important to the. I'll be completely honest. Watching the videos now, where like things are flying at me on the screen, or like the person's on it and then they're not on it because all this text and like fancy stuff is it completely. I'm like, I'm done with this. It's
yeah.
fake to me. You're not like I just. It's not something I've ever done, and it's not to me. I find I pay attention now to what I scroll, right? Like so that in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, there's a reason I'm not doing that is because I notice when I'm on Instagram or TikTok, that stuff's not catching my attention,
Yeah.
right? It's the same as when we're in this business and we look at advertising things. Oftentimes, you don't pay attention to something that has advertisements on it until you have paid for that advertisement. So if you are somebody who's put your name on the back of a bus, or your picture on the back of a bus, the only reason you're paying attention to that is because you've paid for that. You want to see who else is on it. I've never paid for advertising on a bus bench or a bus because I've never honestly looked at a bus and been like, I'm going to call the mortgage agent on the back of the TTC. It's just not my thing.
I love it. I love it. So we'll do one more thing and then we'll
Yeah.
piece out on this because this is you're very gracious with your time, by the way.
Yeah.
So thank you. Um,
Cleared out my whole day for you.
you clear. I
Canceled all
don't,
my calls. No, I'm kidding.
I don't believe that for a second. You probably have like called people like, where is she?
No, no, you're blocked out. I did my calls this morning.
What is she doing? Okay, so I'm a new broker,
Yeah.
or not new broker. I'm a broker, newer on social, and I don't want to talk to the people who haven't done social. I want to talk to people who are doing it, but they're like on the struggle bus and they're
Mhm.
ready to like peace out and they don't know if they can do it anymore and they don't like, what would you say? Because I feel like that's most brokers. I feel like most brokers are dabbling on stuff, but not fully committed. So what's your advice to those people that are in no man's land, I call it?
Consistency. I think anybody in this industry will tell you, whether it's social media or anything in your business, consistency is the best thing for anything. So if you feel like you're like I'm done with this, I urge you just to keep going because there will be a video that is going to catch somebody's attention that they are going to pick up that phone and go, I relate to this person. Um, the minute you feel like giving up, well, that's on you. Like if your business isn't going the way that you want it to go, it's because you've given up on yourself and on your business. And if social media is where you think you're going to get, or you're trying to build your business and you're seeing people like myself be successful on it, the minute you give up, you have nobody to blame but yourself. So consistency for me is a massive thing. We all want to quit. I mean, if you think back to the beginning of your mortgage career, how many times did files come across your desk that were completely garbage and you wasted all this time on them? It was a learning experience. If you didn't do those files, you wouldn't have learned anything from them. And if you had quit then, you wouldn't be where you are today. That's probably my biggest piece of advice for anybody that feels like they're willing to quit in social media. I think social media, people used to say, like, you must be getting all the first time home buyers who can't qualify. Nope. I'm getting seniors, like people like my parents are now on social. My dad is scrolling social media, which is my dad can't type on a keyboard, but he can watch reels at any given day. Um,
You're not just getting kids, you're getting
I'm getting
executives who
everybody.
300K a year are reaching out to from social.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So what you just said there That was very important. I'm glad you said that. It's the story we tell ourselves. We want to tell ourselves stories all the time. It's like, oh, only seniors are, oh, it's only going to be people who are rate shoppers. Oh, it's going to be people with bad credit. Oh, it's going to be,
Yeah.
it's like, if you
And I
say
mean,
that, but
turn that around on yourself, being a broker, say you're a 40-year-old broker, are you scrolling social media?
yeah.
So is everybody else. So is everybody else. Whether they're watching it while they're at work and not supposed to be, or they're laying in bed, or they're on their way home from work and they're, on the bus or on the subway, or they're sitting on the friggin' toilet. They're on social media.
I use social as not a way to find someone I want to use. Doesn't matter if it's a plumber up to a coach, whatever. I use social media as a way to uh, uh, turn me off on people. If you
Mhm.
don't have a brand on there, if you're not doing things on there, if I can't tell who you are in watching 3, 4 videos because it's over edited, then I move on to someone else. But so I look at it as the way to deter me from working with people, because if you don't have a brand there,
Your social media has become your business card. Business
yeah,
cards are not a thing anymore. If, I mean, I carry them around. I don't remember the last time I handed one out because it's how do I get in contact with you? Oh, follow me on here. And if they can go to your social media and they can, it's your business card. It shows who you are, what you do, how you do it, what the type of person you are. It shows it all. My social media shows that I do mortgages, but I also have 3 children of my own and 2 stepkids. I'm in the hockey arenas, I'm in the tumbling gyms. Like, I like to drink my wine on some nights or on if I'm away at sporting events. Like, they see all of that. It is social media has become your business card. And if I can't find you on online somewhere, I immediately go to what is this person hiding or what's wrong with them? Unless you're like an 85-year-old senior who has a flip phone, right? Like, but for the most part, everybody has some form of social media, whether it be Facebook or Instagram.
yeah.
There is something out there.
Well, if you're a small business owner
Yeah.
and you don't have social media, I go to a negative place. I go, there's why? That seems like something's not computing here.
Mhm.
That, like, what are you doing then to get business? I don't understand that part. I'm like, what are you doing?
Even when we're vetting our own clients, if you don't think I go and scroll and try and find my clients on social media, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Like,
Lenders are doing it. Lenders are doing it.
lenders do it 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So, like, and if I can't find a client on social media, I'm like, especially now where my clientele is so, I don't, they're so far spread, right? Like, I could pass a ton of my clients on the road and be like, have no idea who they are anymore. Um, 100% I look up clients. And if I can't find them, it's like, you got to
yeah.
be on, generally they're on something. So,
Yeah. I'm like you. Same thing. Yeah. Doesn't matter what I'm looking for. I go there. If it's somewhere I'm going to eat,
yeah.
I'll look there and I'll look like, show me the food. Show
Mhm.
me pictures of the food.
Yeah.
Show me a camera of your sous chef or someone, a prep cook, making the thing to make the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
it's
social
free.
media is a massive search engine. Um, and I mean, the amount of times that I hear in a phone call, like if I'm looking at my calendar, Monday I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 calls. Every single one of those calls on Monday were TikTok.
It's crazy. No, not crazy. This is stuff I love that. Hey, we're gonna wrap this up because we could talk forever on this, but I want to value your time. Okay, Samantha, you're a rock star. Thank you for coming on. We'll have you on with maybe more specific strategy stuff later and another year from now when you've got a bunch of stuff. I know you're shifting some things behind in the back of your business for the
I
better.
have to, thanks to social media.
Thanks to social
Yeah.
media. Yes, it's created some other problems, some other bottlenecks,
Yeah.
right? You're some other bottlenecks. Yeah, you're the bottleneck.
Yeah.
So, Kate, love it. I know everyone watching this has probably already heard of it. If you haven't, we will put the link to Sam's TikTok below as well. Kate, Samantha, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.